Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Back Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Back Allah, Muhammad Jihad, Allah Durka, Muhammad Jihad, Muhammad Jihad. Oh, shit.
I ran so far away.
Where did you run to?
Iran is being invaded.
Yeah, I knew.
So it's all on. I tweeted, holy f***, I haven't checked Twitter for like 24 hours and America is in full-on Iranian invasion mode. Are all the lefties pro-Ayatollah yet? And a few people on Twitter said, bowing when I am fighting you even though I'm an invasion. And I say, yeah, f***head, okay. There's like war stuff going on. There's bombs, etc.
Yeah, Bering knows what war stuff is.
Yeah, I know what war stuff is.
He does war stuff good.
So I saw someone else, I can't remember who it was, say the Ayatollah spent his whole life, like 86 years working towards like war with Israel and America and dies on day one.
Oh, how unfortunate.
Yeah. So I tweeted, breaking, Iran swears in its new Ayatollah. Now, I'm not a geopolitical kind of guy. I'm just here to like look at some reactions. I don't really have an opinion on this thing. It's happening.
You don't have an opinion at all?
Well, I mean, I think the Iranian regime are a pack of But like, there's a lot of people in America saying, look, we don't need new wars, which I understand that attitude. There's a lot of people saying, oh my God, we're doing it for Israel. I understand that attitude too.
Look, it's Trumpy's last term, okay?
Yeah.
He's got to get a war under the belt.
He's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
He's had his finger itching to push that war button on his desk for a while.
Yeah, I just want to look at some reactions because there's some interesting reactions. Let's have a look. Let's go! So the protests have started. All the lefties are now pro-Iranian regime. Now, as I said, I understand the attitude of like, we don't need new wars. Why is America in this? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's the threat of the nuke stuff like Trump keeps talking about. There's all the oppression in Iran. There's like the regime being absolute dicklords. But like, yeah, I understand all these attitudes. But there's some sus signs here. Here's another protest in New York. That looks very familiar.
Well, this one's a bit better. I was going to say that last protest looked a bit anemic. It's like people are tired of protesting about shit.
Well, they're paid, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I was going to say, it's winter. We've already done the fucking ice riots.
Yeah, remember a few months ago, the Venezuela thing. Now, take note of this sign here, this yellow sign, right?
I forgot about the Venezuela thing.
Yeah, the Venezuela thing.
It's yesterday's news.
Yeah, but take notice of this sign. Here's the Venezuela protest. Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! That is the exact same fucking sign.
Oh yeah, they're paid.
They're paid. So someone's just got this in like a design, like a Word template or something, a photoshopped, whatever it is.
It's his war template.
Yeah, and they're just changing Venezuela to Iran.
Yeah, he's got hundreds of them printed at home. He just changes the country.
Well, he's just got the file on hand and he's got like a quick print shop and he just like sends over the file and says, right, we got a new protest. Here they are handing them out or on their way to handing them out. So it's not very organic, is it? If you've got motherfuckers turning up to this thing with like stacks and stacks and stacks of the same sign, that is very suspect.
Yeah.
Who's behind it? Meanwhile, in Iran, I ran so far away. They're tearing down statues of the Ayatollah. There's got to be something with the Ayatollah. I was trying to think of a joke like if Trump said, I told you if you kept building nukes, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
There's got to be something there. Someone think of something, for fuck's sake.
I told you I'd do war with you.
Yeah.
You know what surprised me? This morning I woke up and I saw a big protest about this Iran stuff in Melbourne. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. It was all a bunch of Iranians just celebrating.
Yeah, like these Iranians. So the Iranians, from what we can see in Iran, I ran so far.
How many times are you going to do that?
Yeah, I know. I can't stop it. They seem to be happy. So let's have a look at Iran's record. Now, this all kicked off, apparently, from what I can glean. All the riots and shit kicked off. All the protests and stuff kicked off a few years ago because of the regime's treatment of women. So this is a list of what it's like to be a chick in Iran. I won't read all of it, but not equal to men, forced dress code, morality police, marriage and divorce favour men, blah blah blah. Inheritance is half of what men get. There's a whole list of shit. Girls can be married very young with permission. Yes, it's as grim as that sounds.
Disgusting.
The TLD, women in Iran live under state-enforced religious control. They're legally second-class citizens and get punished for stepping out of line. So I was watching a DW documentary about like how it is in Iran with like chicks and shit and like what led up to these protests and all that sort of shit. And I just want to sort of disperse bits of that in between a recent clip that our good friend Kate Smurthwaite put out.
In September 2022, the death of a young woman shook the country. Jina Mahsa Amini was a 22-year-old Kurdish student. On September the 13th, she was arrested because a few strands of her hair were visible below her veil. 3 days later, she died from her injuries. There was no doubt she had been beaten by security forces. It was one of many acts of injustice, but this one went too far. First, women took to the streets to protest. They quickly gained support from large sections of the population. The protest movement adopted the Kurdish slogan, Jinjian Azadi, woman, life, freedom.
So it's pretty bad for chicks in Iran, and they started stirring stuff up because they were sick of it.
They were doing the actual real feminism.
Yeah, the real feminism shit. So in 2015, the Ayatollah said female prisoners who are virgins must be raped before execution to prevent them from entering heaven.
Good fucking lord.
Yeah, good bloke. Here's a story from Dr. Pooranma from India. But this is legit. This is legit, confirmed by Grok.
What, the name or the story?
The story. I shouldn't be laughing. Atifa Rajibi something was a 16-year-old girl from Iran. She was lovely and happy, and one day while travelling in a taxi, she was arrested by the morality police for not wearing a hijab. She endured days of torture and grape at the hands of her captors, who later confessed to misconduct. She was brought before a judge, stumbling and bleeding from the repeated assaults. She begged the judge for justice and the punishment of her tormentors. Instead, he passed a sentence for her to be executed for the crime of adultery and chastity. In defiance, she tore off her hijab and threw it at his feet. On August 15, 2004, she was publicly hanged from a crane in her town square.
Oh, they had to go with the crane.
Yeah, the judge himself later admitted to raping and torturing her during interrogations.
Oh, God.
So that's the conditions of chicks in Iran.
Right, so you do not want to get arrested.
Yeah, it's absolutely fucked. So enter Kate Smurthwaite.
I've had a lot of really angry messages this week demanding to know why I haven't made a video about what's going on in Iran.
Yeah, that's pretty sus because you're like an uber feminist.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be pretty stoked about it.
Well, looking past the war shit, looking past the America dropping bombs and all that sort of shit, remember that video by Leo Kearse where he pointed out she was defending the Iranian regime before all this bombing and shit started?
She was, yeah.
Let me be really clear, I don't have to. It's not in any way my job. Are you someone who sponsors my videos? Okay, well then your input on what I should or shouldn't be covering. I'm not even gonna, it doesn't even get my energy, right?
It doesn't even get my energy unless you fucking pay me. This is the woman who was defending the Iranian regime a few months ago and saying, look, we've got it bad here too. I can't get my tits out in London.
I
Remember
can't get
that?
anyone to turn up to my shows when Oasis plays.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the uprising, I'd repeatedly heard about doctors secretly treating wounded demonstrators, people who couldn't go to the hospital. If they did, they'd run the risk of being discovered by the regime.
I do, in fairness, cover stories that I think are being given rather distorted media attention, and where I think the angle that's being taken isn't really reflective of what's going on. And that is certainly true of what's going on in Iran. Like, we've seen a lot of coverage of the regime is killing protesters, these poor innocent protesters. And what we're not hearing is what lots of sources, including the regime in Iran itself, are saying, which is that these are not really regular protesters. There have been some quite violent riots.
Oh, Oh, so she's saying, look, the regime are telling us that the rioters were violent. So, you know, what's a few dead rioters? For fuck's sake, the regime said so. The regime said so.
She's all for the regime.
I found myself wondering how the Iranian people had been able to endure this for so long. How could we survive in a country where everything is forbidden? For women, singing and dancing in public, holding hands, laughing in the street.
Singing and dancing and laughing in the street.
Yeah.
Wow, but Kate can't get her tits out in Piccadilly Circus.
Oh, wait. According to Idams and Nisa, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You can sing and dance in the street.
Yeah.
I don't believe that women's rights in Iran will be advanced by bringing in external military, by the US, the UK, Israel showing up with bombs. I don't think that will help. If we are going to help women in Iran, then we must do so by supporting their women's rights movements and the groups within Iran.
There's no fucking women's rights movement.
Well, no, but there was. The fucking protests, right? They started protesting in 2022, 2023, after that chick got killed in custody. So all this recent stuff, all these recent riots and shit are a build-up of that women's movement in Iran. The same movement that Kate's saying, oh yeah, but they were violent, you know? The regime told us that they were violent. So Iran does a fucking women's movement. Mm-hmm. The Iranian government offs them all.
Yeah.
And Kate goes, yeah, but they were being violent though.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
She's a fucking idiot.
She's loony.
By reading foreign newspapers, I found out how many people had fallen victim to the regime. Almost 600 people were killed in the protests, including several dozen children. Reports said more than 20,000 people had been arrested, and about a dozen had already been executed.
Any last words?
For the record, I do think that the Iranian regime is terrible. And I think having a UK, US, Israel-run regime would be terrible. And I think bringing in the Iranian, alternatives at the moment would still be pretty terrible for a lot of people in Iran and probably wouldn't last. We know what happens when we demolish a regime and leave a vacuum, because it happened in Iraq, it happened in Afghanistan. It is not helping people on the ground.
So she just wants the status quo. She's like, look, America shouldn't be bombing, Israel shouldn't be bombing. We shouldn't even be pushing for a change of Iranian government because, you know, that's gonna disrupt things. We should just be cool with all the graping and death and executions and shit, guys.
Yeah, there won't be any more freedoms anyway if they start bombing them and, replace this regime.
Yeah, and like I said, have whatever opinion you want on, the bombing and the intervention and all that, but surely we can agree that the regime are
I'd love to see her trying to live there. Imagine if she accidentally let her hijab slip or whatever it's called and it showed off her underarm hair.
Oh. I mean, that should be illegal, in the Western world. We should have hijab laws for fucking feminist armpits.
And the idea that we would turn to the US or to Israel to solve our problems when they have not stopped attacking innocent civilians in Gaza, in Palestine, in Yemen, in all sorts of places. And indeed in the US's case in Venezuela. Why on earth would we turn to those people and go, look, the Iranian regime is awful. You guys should do something about it. The first thing those guys should do is stop shooting people in Minneapolis.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Listen, guys, we shouldn't be pointing fingers at the Iranian regime because a couple of fucking idiots got killed in Minneapolis.
I mean, it's so condescending, isn't it? That she's lecturing everyone, that she knows better than the people living in Venezuela or Iran under these shithouse regimes. You know better, Kate. You know better.
Yeah, and she just, you can tell this is all because she has a fucking massive hate boner for Israel. Now, I bet on this video, there'll be someone who goes, oh my God, you're a fucking Israel chick. I couldn't give a a fuck about Israel. I couldn't give a fuck about any of this, really. But you gotta admit, the regime are kinda pricks. You know what I mean? And it's just unbelievable that these fucking lefties are now all pro-regime. That's my only point in this video.
Yeah, and you got to admit that the locals look pretty happy about what's going on.
They look pretty fucking happy.
Stop detaining people with ICE patrols. Stop aggressively deporting people from the UK.
What?
Rapists, murderers, drug smugglers, Kate.
Yeah, and look, we're deporting illegals from Britain, so we should be fine with all the I can't even say it. She's mental.
With every passing day, life in Iran became more unbearable. The population was being squeezed by both international economic sanctions and corrupt leaders seizing the wealth that remained. People were sinking into poverty. With increasing surveillance and repression, protests were becoming rarer and rarer. But a new form of resistance was taking shape. Perhaps less spectacular, but just as risky and courageous.
It is absolutely ridiculous to suggest that I need to make a video condemning the Iranian regime.
Yeah, we know you're pro-regime, Kate.
Jeez.
Isn't it fucking ridiculous? We're going to come back to Kate this week, I think. There's a funny fucking video on Instagram. She was doing shows at the Adelaide, I think, Fringe Comedy Festival, whatever.
Oh, God, is she still here?
Yeah, she's still here for some reason. And she was handing out flyers, right? Look, I won't spoil it, but she copped a lot of abuse in Adelaide. I'm proud of Adelaide for once.
Yeah, well done.
Anyway, we're going to leave it there. I just wanted to point out some of this hypocrisy. The people that would usually be all about women's rights are now all of a sudden leave the regime alone. It's just fucking ridiculous. As I said, think whatever you want of the intervention, think whatever you want of Israel or America getting involved, but I think it's hard to argue that the regime weren't a pack of
It's like their oppression Olympics. They're having internal struggles in their head. Like, they've got to go and refer to their victim charts.
Yeah. You're being mean to the brown people. That's what it boils down to. It's predictable. Visit SugarTits. She has a channel.
Yes, I do.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
See ya.